All right, all right, all right. Peace, 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 everybody. It is the guy with the bow tie checking in with you live for another edition of Business with Benefits. To my right, you have the amazing Darine BenAmara. How you doing, Darine?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Trying to relax a little bit. I know it's been interesting times, and I appreciate you jumping on here from Canada. Canada in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you to hashtag Team Live, hashtag Team Replay, however you consume the content. We appreciate it. And Darina and I met through comments, and she's an influencer on LinkedIn helping out great people out there. But for the people that don't know who you are, let them know what you do and your gift for the world.
Hi. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, to be here. I'm watching your live series, so actually I'm happy to be on the other side this time. So my name is Darine BenAmara. I'm the founder and CEO of The Smart Woman, and basically I help professional women to fast track their career and avoid being overlooked for career opportunities through personal branding, positioning, and visibility.
And that's an interesting topic because we opened this show with professional credit. That is something that prior to looking at your content, I never really thought about that verbiage. So what is professional credit for the people that haven't heard of that before?
But professional credit basically is a professional reputation. And, we live in a fast-paced environment. And with the COVID-19, like 99 of our activity is happening online. So your professional credit basically is how much, value do you provide through the content that you put online. I like to say that perception is reality. So do you provide enough information online? So for the people who Google you or look at your LinkedIn page, for example, LinkedIn profile, have the right perception, the right opinion about who you are, and does your image reflect your potential, your full professional potential? So the higher, it's like your credit score. Basically, the higher your professional credit is, the better, because the more you are perceived as a visible expert, the more you can negotiate your salary, or you can eventually, in some cases, you can TEDx your fees when you are perceived as a visible expert. So having a professional credit is very, very important in terms of providing people the right information about you so they know what you bring to the table.
And I think you're being modest about that too, because in your background, you use your professional credit to be a foreign person working in the White House or getting White House work. So you actually shown this in concept of getting your credit score high enough to get into the White House. So talk about that experience of getting into the White House and what that work was like, and how that basically kind of showed you how important this is.
So basically, through building my career, and I started, after universities, I had no money, like most of us when we are done with the university, and it's hard to get started, in the marketplace. So I would communicate, I would write, I had a blog actually where I would write articles about what I'm passionate about and what I know, and how I impact people, how my activities impact people, and how I believe so much in it. And so basically I was in 2016, I was selected among the 100 young global leaders and entrepreneurs for an intensive leadership training at the White House. So it was through the Given Project conference. And,
Okay.
I was there among like amazing young people. But the fact is that I positioned myself, and I shared enough information online for people to know what I'm about, what I'm passionate about, and what I'm good at when they Google my name. So the backstory is I was on LinkedIn, and I wanted to reach out to this guy who was back in time an advisor to one of the advisors to Barack Obama. So I took
Okay.
the free premium trial on LinkedIn. Remember, I was broke, so I took the 1 month free premium trial, and so I could have access to his email. So I sent him an email, and the guy Googled me. And when he saw what I was about, he invited me to apply for this leadership training, and I got approved. I got in. So because I was very consistent in the way I was putting myself online, this opened up an opportunity that I would have never have in a million times have access like in my entire life.
Yeah, that's an awesome story using especially the free trials. I'm gonna weasel my
Try
way in
the
here
free trial,
somehow.
people. Try it. You never know.
You know, the weird thing about the free trial, it still shows the badge even after you quit it. So it's one of those things I tell people, like, hey, try it out just to get the badge in your profile.
Oh,
But
and
speaking of,
sorry, but just a side story.
yeah,
Right after I got his email and I sent him an email, I just end the trial because I didn't have the money to pay for it.
hey, being honest about it. And then speaking of being honest, when I catch up with the audience comments, we have Sonia Tyler saying ATL in the building. Thanks for jumping in here. We have Queen Jacqueline Charles representing for the Women Are Worthy show. Thanks for jumping in, Jackie. We have Flo. Hey, Flo, thanks for jumping in
Hey,
here,
so
Flo. And your partner in crime, Ela Francis, jumping in
yes,
here, Team
yes,
Live.
Ilya.
And we had a comment saying that's amazing that's from Irma. Oh, Alarma. Thanks, Alarma, for jumping in here. Her security set too high, but thanks for saying that. So one thing that we kind of talked about before we started this was why this is important for women. Women obviously have a different dynamic in the workplace than I have to experience, but why is professional credit even more important for women than anybody else out there?
It is because and there are like numerous studies out there, and we know it. For every dollar that a man make working, a woman will make 80 cents. So first of all, it's pay inequality. Then women have to work 2 times, 3 times harder to prove themselves. And the higher we climb the ladder, the fewer women you will find in the C-suite executive positions and sometimes senior level management positions. And so it's not because we are less competent, it's not because we are less educated. There is a reality that we are facing as women, and even more for women of color, when or women from visible minorities, where we try so much to fit in, and we try that, and we have this mentality of, we think that by working hard and keeping our heads down will be enough for us to climb the ladder. But actually this is not true, because how many times have you experienced and have you seen people less competent, less qualified, less experienced than you getting that promotion, or getting promoted to high level positions when you have been doing the work, when you have like an amazing track record of achievements. So this is a reality. There is a leadership crisis, even though we have done some amazing progress in the past decades. We know that COVID-19, and maybe we can talk about it later, how like almost wiped out all the efforts and progress that we have done in the past decades. But
Yeah.
still, the issue is, as women, is that we don't self-promote. And the truth is, people will only know how good you are if you tell them.
Yeah.
Don't expect that your work would speak for yourself, because this is not true. You have to make your work speak for yourself. And how you do that? Through self-promotion. But there is also, this fear, and it's justified in some cases, where we don't want to put ourselves up front, not too much. We don't want to self-promote because we fear backlash. We feel to be perceived as bossy, bitchy. Who the hell do you think she is? I mean, it sounds cliche. It sounds
Yeah.
cliche, but this is very true. And so I really focus on it, and I'm passionate about it, because there are ways, there are strategies that you can implement to get seen, to make your voice heard, to make your voice count. So when you bring in clients, when you make like amazing achievements for your team, through your team, with your team, or for the companies, people at least acknowledge your competence and your potential. So when the time comes, when an opportunity comes up, they will think of you and promote you for the next opportunity.
Well, as you were speaking about that, something kind of came to mind, that you talked about this Googling yourself portion of the self promotion. So, do you think it's easier for people to self promote online versus offline? And if so, why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? From what I have experienced with my clients, finally, even though everything or most of our activities have shifted online,
Right.
I feel like we face a lot of women actually face the same challenges when it comes to networking and promoting themselves online. But it's true that doing it online, maybe remove some barriers, especially for those who don't know how to present yourself, are not aware that they have a voice and that their voice matter. And when you are not aware of something, either online or offline, you won't use it if you don't know that you have it. Right?
I guess I was thinking because of the standpoint of like if we mention these cliches that exist in the women professional diaspora that maybe doing it in person might come off as pushy versus if you just put something on your LinkedIn or put something on your webpage, it might not be as boasty because you're not verbally doing it. So have you found that some of your more introverted clients prefer to use the online space to kind of hype themselves up and be their own cheerleader just because it's not like a megaphone, it's more like a whisper?
For the most introvert of them, no. For those who are
Okay.
in between, like they are much more comfortable indeed with the idea of sharing content, writing something, but still we know that we live in an era where video marketing is very important. So you still
Yes.
have to show up somehow through videos this time or through live stream, but that's something else. And still, there is this fear of being on videos because either they don't like their voice or they are not used to, and they most often they are still concerned about how the people in their network will perceive them, like starting doing video marketing, like they will judge her. They are really concerned about how people will judge them, judge them if they start doing video marketing. So there is, it's much more than just speaking about it and being aware of it. Like sometimes it's so embedded in us because we grew up, we were raised to be nice, kind, polite, behave, all of this. So when it comes the time to become assertive, you are confused, you don't know how to do it, and then you may feel anxious about it. But there is a lot of work to do, when it comes to personal branding and raising your profile. It's about, first of all, being self-aware of your full potential, what you bring to the table, the value of your work, your knowledge, and your experience. And then once you become self-aware, the more you become self-aware, the more self-confidence grow because you know what you're good at now. So then it's a matter of expressing it through your personal brand strategically.
I like that breakdown. And real quick, some comments we had here from your partner, Carmen. That's how you truly leverage LinkedIn. If you don't go after the right people and ask what you want, chances are you won't get it. And also, as you speak, and you mentioned women are taught to be nice and everything. And I think this is where it's hard for entrepreneurs to get that everybody's in sales. Like everything you're describing is a form of sales, the self-promote and sell, this is me, this is that packaging. And it's like this teaching we all go through from childhood to adulthood is anti-sales. Like, be quiet, don't raise your hand too much, don't do this, don't do that. So where do you think your biggest lesson was at? Was that basically when you got that role as being the intern, or was it when you went into business you really got the message of, I gotta step up my sales game and get my branding more increased?
What I expected for too long, way too long actually, is that the people who know me, the people who appreciate me would do the speaking for me. Right? When we appreciate someone, we what we call word of mouth. And a lot of people in my close entourage were very aware of my potential, of my capacity to lead, to execute, to implement, and so on. So for so long, I thought that, okay, they know it, so they will talk about it. And eventually they did, and eventually they will, but you are not in control of what other people can say about you, even if they have the best intention. Do you know if what they will say about you reflects your full potential? Do you know if what they will say about you will position you for that next opportunities? You don't know that. And like, people are busy. We are all busy. We have busy life and we are preaching for ourselves. So don't expect for people to preach for yourself, to speak on your behalf, because you are giving away your power to control your narrative and the way that you want people to perceive you and what you want people to know about you.
Boom, mic dropper right there. And we also had, I'm not going to butcher your name, Miss Samila, said, hello people, thanks for jumping in here. And then Irama had a question about any thoughts on embedding video marketing and email marketing. So putting a video into your emails. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great way, to get your audience to get to know you a little bit more. People want to see you, and especially that we are. I mean, I know in the U.S. it's a little bit different in some part of the world, but we have been in a lockdown situation for over a year now. So we need to see people. We need to have those. We need to see the vibes. We need to see you smiling. We need to see you like in action, in motion. So I think like including videos, and I do include videos actually in my own emails marketing. Yeah. Because I want
Perfect.
people to have this sense that I'm talking to them personally, that I'm here. It's not just like reading like a few sentences. It's about me sharing something with you directly through video, and I think it's very powerful.
Get some reactions for that, people, because obviously Darine is not a video marketing person, but she basically advocates for his personal branding. And I think about in this space when you mentioned people getting to know people and put the human and see people, that's more relevant than ever because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
But women, when you mentioned they got to balance this line of I don't want to be pushy, but I want you to know who I am. Do you think a good balance of that is let your accolades, accreditations, and all that be on your static experience portion, but then you have videos that kind of show the personality?
It's essential. It's essential, especially now, but we live like in a virtual world where we need to know who you are. And the best way to let people know who you are, the best way to build trust, because let's talk about it a little bit. Building your personal brand, raising your professional profile is about positioning you as the perfect fit for your dream job. Okay, for the next opportunity or for better opportunities. And the way that people will like think of you, or they will keep you on top of their mind when an opportunity comes up, it's because they trust you. It's because through your videos they have seen you have been consistent, you have been providing value, you have been showing who you are as a person. A resume cannot do that, an email cannot do that, just like videos can do that, or live stream. So let's talk about videos, recorded videos, and live stream in the same bucket. But this is it. The only way for me to know who Daryl is through his live stream and videos, because I have a better sense of of your sense of humor and how you speak, and your body language, and all of these are like small elements of your personal brand. If you're smiling, if you smile, how do you speak to your videos like this, or are you confident when you speak on videos? All these elements are part of your personal brand, and the best way to showcase it is through videos.
Yeah, it's interesting. This, when I first think about my journey with LinkedIn, I wasn't the video person at first, and I think it was Shay Robottom where I said, "Oh, she's making fun videos. Let me try making fun videos too." And then you and I both know Shanae Murray, and Shanae was doing live stuff. I was like, "Oh, I could do some live stuff like Shanae." So definitely, women have taught me a great deal on LinkedIn, and I appreciate women for that. But also, as you go through this journey, you think personal branding is an entrepreneur thing. I know for me, for a long time, I thought, oh, personal brands for when you have your own business and stuff like that. But it sounds to me like what you're saying is personal brand permeates all things. So would you say that's one of the most important things for a professional working in a corporate structure? Is their personal brand, or is it more their accreditations?
Personal brand and network. And the better your personal brand is, the better your network is, because you will have access to a different type of crowd depending on how you position yourself and what's your professional credit, right? So personal branding is really key, because personal branding, so I know a lot of people don't like the term personal branding and don't feel comfortable with the term personal branding, and you don't have to be a star or an athlete to have a personal brand. And having a personal brand doesn't mean being an influencer and having thousands and thousands of followers. Having a personal brand, it's about building your professional profile in a way that people can fully experience who you are as an expert in your field.
Yeah, I think about my friend Nick Nelson. He does branding for people, and he says you're an experience. Everybody, whatever, you're either a good experience or a bad experience. So that's what I think personal branding can be. I used to think you had to be like Kim Kardashian to have a personal brand, but that's really the celebrity versus. And I know you have an article talking about that. So break down that kind of vision of a personal brand versus the reality?
Yeah, so personal brand, basically personal brand is like a few key things. As you said, it's an experience. It's the experience that you provide to people who come to your profile or to the internet, Google you, and experience with the content that you put out there. And you have to think about, okay, what are the values, the vibes that I want people to feel when they Google my name. Okay. And like it or not, the truth is, like it or not, you already have a personal brand. We all have a personal brand. A personal brand is what people think of you or what people say about you when you are not in the room. So now you have two options. Either you let people think whatever they want, based on whatever they want, any subjective information that they may have heard or seen or heard from you. Or you take control of your narrative, and again, you ensure that you put the right information and enough information out there, so when people experience your content, they have a perception of who you are that is very close of the reality.
Yeah.
So this is important to have a personal brand in the workplace because it allows people, so from your team members, co-workers, supervisors, employers, to know who you are and what kind of experience you can provide in the workplace as a professional. And here, if you allow me to say a few things about building a personal brand in the workplace, what I hear often is people who are scared actually to build a personal brand while they are on a job because they don't want to upset their boss, or they don't want to have a personal brand that would overshadow the company's brand. And they are just scared of what people would think about about them having a personal brand outside of work. But let me tell you something. Having a personal brand, having employees with a strong personal brand is great for a company's reputation, because when you attend events, either online events, in-person events, and that people see you with a strong personal brand, that when they Google you, they see who you are and that you are working for this company, it shows that this company is not playing. This company hires like great people out there, competent people out there, knowledgeable expert out there, right? And so that's the first thing. And the second thing is a personal brand has a reach that is 10 times higher than a company's brand. So as you increase your visibility strategically, of course, you also increase the visibility of the company you're working for. So it's win-win. So I think it's important to debunk this myth that having a personal brand as work is negative, because actually it's really a win-win for yourself and for the company. And so when that promotion opens, when this position opens up, people will think of you because you would have been communicating consistently about what you're good at, what you are about, the achievements that you have made by yourself or with your team, and so on and so on. And we say, oh, but we have heard her, we have seen her, she's good at what she does, so let's invite her for an interview.
I want to do a quick segue with that, because I think about old school versus new school, and then my dad gave me a shout out for being old school, because I'm barely a millennial. My wife won't say this, but I'm barely a millennial, so my dad's wished me a belated birthday from yesterday. This personal brand is really just reputation. When you break it down for old school, it's just your reputation. But now, since we have a social element, you can kind of construct it. So what's an example of somebody doing bad personal branding? Like they designed a personal brand that was basically perceived differently in the marketplace. What's an example of a bad version? Even if it's a celebrity, just so people kind of understand.
So I will give you an example. I don't know if I can use it as an example of bad personal branding, but I want to show you how a personal brand can evolve actually through this example. Okay. And that's something that I shared a couple of days or weeks ago. It's about Kim Kardashian. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so she started out like building a personal brand as being Paris Hilton bag handler,
Right.
and then she had some scandals. So she became famous, but she became famous for the wrong reasons. Okay, so this is how she started. We won't talk about how she monetized it and how she became famous, but it's just how she started. So she started out of something negative, and people like drama. So that's why she went viral. But then if
Mm-hmm.
you look at it 2 days ago, she was on Forbes as one of the new billionaire. And she's one of very few women billionaire. And now Kim Kardashian is well known for being an entrepreneur, being a
Right.
future lawyers, advocating for justice. So when you look at Kim Kardashian now, that's what you see online, offline, and that's what the conversations are about.
Yep.
So what it shows you is, first of all, a personal brand is not static. It's a
Mm-hmm.
dynamic process. So what you were 10 years ago is not the same person that you are today. It's not the same person that you envision to be 10 years from now. So
Right.
your personal brand is not engraved. It's not you being an accountant and if you want to shift industry or if you want to shift your role, then you don't know what to do because you are known as an accountant. But it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that you cannot do anything else outside of being an accountant. And especially
Yeah.
now where all of us, for most of us, we won't spend like 20, 30 years doing the same thing within the same company, right?
Yeah.
There is a strong chance that it won't happen because, we will try a thing and then we will try another thing, and we are more versatile in our job market nowadays. So your personal brand is a dynamic process, and so it's very important to have a plan and a strategy around your personal brand because you want to make it evolve as you grow, and you want to ensure that at every step along the way your personal brand reflect who you are at the moment. So it's about being known and building your reputation for what you want to be known at the moment.
I think it's important you broke that down because a lot of people struggle with content creation because they're like, I got to talk about my widget, my service, my good. But what you're breaking down is basically put your person. And I kind of say to people, when you're in a commodity based business, you got to insert more person into it. And that works overall because if I decide tomorrow I want to be a brand designer or a consultant or something, people still know my vibe, my personality. So they'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. He knew what he was doing then. Now he knows what he's doing over here. So I think it's important that with COVID, people are switching jobs and people that got
Yeah.
stuck in, I'm working a certain job 10 years and then boom, COVID happened. I don't have a job anymore. So do you think a lot more young people are going to see in that? I got to make a personal brand so I can stay viable in the workplace for 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, and I see it even among young people. I think for young people it makes much more sense because they were like raised with social media, so for them
Yeah.
putting them out there is not something new, right? But I see more and more women professionals in mid to senior level positions to realize that they have to build a personal brand, that they have to become visible because working hard has not led them where they thought they would be. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
with COVID-19, we are facing a leadership crisis. And
Yep.
studies are out there like where a higher percentage of women are either considering stepping down the
Mm-hmm.
workplace or downgrading their career because they have so much to handle with working from home, homeschooling, and all of this that it's not sustainable anymore. So
Right.
we are facing a leadership crisis where only those, and I strongly believe in it, who stand out from the crowd through their professional reputation will be able to have more options. It's a matter of giving you you're giving yourself more options when it comes to shifting or facing something like COVID-19 and you have to quit your job or you have lost your job. So when that happened, what are your options out there if no one
Right.
knows you? And as I
Yeah.
was saying at some point, having a strong professional reputation allows you to build a stronger and better network because you will attract a different type of crowd.
Yeah,
And
people will they'll use your credit score to say you never had a car before, but maybe you can have a house, or because that's how credit works. If you had credit built on paying off a Macy's store credit card, and so you pay that off, maybe now you can get a car, and then you get a car. Hey, you pay that off, maybe now you can get a house. So that works with business. I think that you can show that credit. And I worked as an accountant for 10 years, and then I decided to be an entrepreneur. Okay, you did that for 10 years. You have a good reputation. I can see you doing that. Let me see what you have, and people will be willing to go over there with you. And that's why Maria had a comment. She said, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And Donna had a good question. Thanks for jumping in here, Donna. How have you found balance between focusing on the vanity points of capturing followers or truly generating influence? So vanity metrics versus influence.
So honestly, okay, there is two ways to see it. First of all, vanity metrics are vanity metrics. So like obviously you don't care about the numbers, because you can have a network of 100 people on LinkedIn and those people being the right people.
Yeah.
Okay, versus having like 50,000 followers, and they don't engage with your content, or they are not the right people that will help you to achieve your objectives. Your influence is not determined by the number of people who follows you.
Ooh, say that again.
I will say it again. Your influence is not determined by the number of people who follow you. So, and that's the thing. Do you want to position yourself as a leader, or do you want to position yourself as an influencer? That's not the same thing. Influencers are people who focus on the numbers. And I was having this conversation with a branding agency based in LA, and the CEO works with influencers. So and she was like, Darine, when I asked them, what's your personal brand? How do you want to position yourself? For us then to negotiate partnerships, they don't know how to position themselves. The only thing that they know is, okay, I have so much followers, I'm converting so much people who want to buy so much products. Okay. But being an influencer is something. Being a leader is something different, because as a leader, right, you can influence people to do things that will impact their lives. If you want to be an influencer, not influencers are leaders.
And I think the thing about it, my dog's going crazy. Hold on. 1 second for that. Jeez, dogs, this is the COVID life. You got to get the dog to be quiet for a second.
Inside.
But as you mentioned, there's something to think about, because people kind of get hung up on this. And I think the followers have some use, but if they're followers without doing anything, this is where I see somebody that'll have like 100,000 followers and they get like 1 like on something or 2 likes, which shows that their audience isn't engaged to me, that they're not doing anything. Like if you have all these numbers and nobody does anything, it doesn't really matter. So it's good to have it's good to have the outreach to know my message gets to this many people, but if they don't do anything with it, it's much to the influencer play. If you have followers that don't do anything, then these brands invest in these influencers and then they never sell anything. So I think it's important when you ask that, Donna, followers have a place, but you want quality followers, like people that actually engage.
Exactly. And actually, I can get the point where it's also a number game. So that's the other way to see it. To see it. This is a number game. So the most people will see your content, the most you will be able to convert. If you're an entrepreneur or if you are a professional looking for a better position, the more people see your profile, the better. But you want to ensure that those people are the right people, once again.
Right.
So I would rather focus on the small audience and ensure that they are the right people than growing for the sake of what. And actually, to tell you the truth, like once a month, I do remove followers from my community when I feel like people they don't align with what I do, where I feel like it's not a good fit. I remove followers from my community.
Well, that's smart. If you guys, and this is this was in a LinkedIn course today, but when you think about the way the algorithm works, is they roll out your content to a percentage of your followers at first. So if you have 1,000 followers, they'll give it to 10% maybe at first. If that 10% likes it, they get the phase two. Then more people see your content. So it's smart what Darine is mentioning. If you get rid of the dead followers that don't do anything and never engage, you're shrinking your pool so that way you have quality people engaging your content. So it's fun seeing I got 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers. It's fun seeing that. But what are you here for? If you're
Exactly.
here to make money, connect with people, network, and actually do something, then really the main thing is how much engagement do you have?
Yeah, and when you shrink your audience, actually, it increases your engagement rate, which is even better.
Yep. Yeah, so for the women trying to get that professional credit, don't think you got to go make this massive following.
No, it has
Get people that ride
nothing
for
to
you.
do. Yeah, the right people are out there. Make yourself visible and make yourself visible strategically. Once again, the strategy around can really make you or break you. Because I was reading these studies on what's holding women back, and one of the main barriers actually that women face is one of the two main barriers actually I want to mention is access to a good quality network. We know that decision makers, like top level people, they are among them, so it's hard to have access to them and being part of that network. But it's also having a plan around, having a strategy around their personal brand. Because having a personal brand, but if you don't know how to leverage it, it won't help you. So building your personal brand is really the first step. And once you have identified it, you build your action plan, right? So you develop and grow your personal brand. You increase your visibility. You increase your professional credit, right? But once you have it, what do you do with it? You have to be able to leverage it to serve your purpose. And this is where the strategy comes in.
I like that. It makes me think about my wife sees me doing these lives and she's like, why didn't you mention insurance and why didn't you say this and that? I'm like, because that's not how it works. And it drives her crazy. Like, you should mention insurance every time. Like, well, if people like what I do and my vibe, then they come and say, oh, what does he do? Let me ask more information. So it's like you say, get the credit and then you can kind of ask for more things. And then Flo had a comment saying, do you want to position yourself as a leader or an influencer? She said, I want to be a leader. So she agrees with you.
Voila. Great.
And Maria said, yep, I completely agree. You have to have the right connections. So I want to be respectful of your time as we get out of here. What's something you want people to take from this conversation when they're looking at their professional credit?
You have a voice and your voice matter. And history has shown us from a generation to another that working hard and keeping our head down doesn't get us anywhere. And working hard, we have worked so hard. We have sacrificed so much. Our family, our health, was it worth it? When we look at it, is it worth it? And the answer is, of course not. It is not. It is not worth it. So you want to ensure to build your professional reputation so it serves your purpose. It allows you to land your dream job. It allows you to make better money, and it allows you, to finally live a thriving life. Because life is about to be lived and not, to be running after, to be chasing after. So we have now the tools, the competencies, we have everything we need to make it happen.
Yep.
So there is no more excuses.
Taking them to church today. But I want to, if people want to learn more about your coaching program and everything you're doing to help women level up, what should they do?
So they can DM me on LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I'm sharing also a lot of content on LinkedIn. So I will be happy to discuss further details, how I can help you and, be by your side as you build your personal brand and build the strategy to leverage it. So, you finally land that dream job and make better money, because at the end of the day, we all want to have this comfort and, live our passion and our purpose. So otherwise, you can visit my website, thesmartwmn.com, and you will have all the information out there.
Boom. Perfect. Well, folks, thank you for jumping in here. I know Canada's back on lockdown and the U.S. is acting like nothing is happening. So please be safe wherever you
Thank you.
are. Please be safe wherever you wear a mask and all that good stuff to make sure we get this thing under control. And tag a woman that needs to see this. If you have a woman that wants to see
Yeah.
this or is trying to level up her professional credit, tell
Yeah.
them reach out to Darine and learn about this, because this is stuff that's not taught in school. You kind of learn it, unfortunately, the hard way. So why not learn the easy way from people that have done it before? We will catch you folks next time on Business with Benefits, and please be safe.
Bye bye. Take care.